front of him, it was there, but he just couldn't get himself into it, so looked to switch the play, it died out. But when they do go forward, they commit the bodies and they make those positive runs.
And in the rain, North Macedonia with a throw on the left-hand side. Little flick from Bardi, didn't quite come off. And now it's with Alaba, who passes the ball forward. Sabitzer dropping deep over the halfway line, running forward, the Leipzig player. But whilst he's running, his arms are open wide. Now he's stopped still, and his arms are open wide, and he's still complaining to some of his teammates about the lack of options that were available to him, which doesn't particularly bode well from an Austrian point of view as they go back. And we'll check in with the tennis and Russell.
Fourth set, one-way traffic in favour of Novak Djokovic, who leads Stefanos Tsitsipas by 4 games to love. He trails, though, by 2 sets to 1. Odds on a 5th set to decide the French Open title. And
commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra. No foul on Pandev just outside the centre circle. Firm shake of the head from the Swedish referee Andreas Ekberg. BBC Radio 5 Live. Schlager plays the ball out towards Baumgartner. Hinteregger now hits it early and forward, the little flick on, and then in the end it was off Leiner, who had got forward the right wing back into the penalty area, but it was collected by the North Macedonian goalkeeper Dimitrievski. 0-0, BBC Radio 5 Live. I would imagine that Igor Angelovski, the coach for North Macedonia, will be very satisfied, Rob Green.
Thrilled with the start, looked a threat, looked comfortable in defence.
He just lost the ball though through Elmas midway through his own half. Kalajdzic forward, holds it up, back now with Schlager. Turns, plays it back, Hinteregger. Every outfield player is in the North Macedonian half as Austria play from left to right, 0-0, nearly a quarter of an hour, but they're going back. And North Macedonia just forcing Austria back, and then from a position where they were camped inside the North Macedonian half, they've retreated, and they're going to have to build from the back once more with Hinteregger as he trundles his way forward, passes the ball, but there's too much zip, and because of the wet surface with the rain, it carries all the way through to the goalkeeper in yellow, Dimitrievski.
It's all very staid at the moment, isn't it, from Austria, and there's no fluidity to the attacks.
Ball given away by Alioski. Kalajdzic shoots, blocks, and eventually played out by Stefan Ristovski and cleared long by Nikolov. Little flick back header from Pandev, kept the ball in play. He was looking for Trajkovski, and Austria work it back towards their goalkeeper Daniel Bachmann. Out of defence, kept on going as well did Darko Velovsky, but caught Sabitzer to give away a free kick to Austria, and it is still goalless after a quarter of an hour.
Yeah, they've not quite got this right, have they, Austria? I don't think the formation that they're playing at the moment, they're playing with just the wing backs pushing high, but no real options when they've got the ball to pass to it, so they're up against their opposing wing backs. So realistically there's no real combinations. We talked about North Macedonia coming down this left hand side with Elmas and Alioski and Bardi all combining. Austria don't really have that right now.
Hinteregger forward, left hand side, crowded out by the white shirts of North Macedonia. Whether you've been listening to England's victory against Croatia by 1-0 on BBC Radio 5 Live, or watching it on BBC One with Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer and the team, after all of the euphoria of Gareth Southgate's success, we have this competitive game now between Austria and North Macedonia, and in fact just getting a little bit heated because the referee, who's clearly spent too much time in the sun, his face is radiating there, that is for sure. He's just calling Sabitzer and Stefan Ristovski towards him as tempers just started to flare a little.
I think he might have not enough lotion this afternoon, but Bardi just turned on the edge of his own box there, and it was a brilliant turn, and the North Macedonian fans erupted, and Sabitzer kicking out in frustration. He's cutting a frustrated figure already in this game.
Plenty of yellow suns on the red fields of the Macedonian flags, but he's seen too much of it, I'm sure, as Andreas Ekberg. A lot of after-sun will be required, I think, to be applied on his face. He's beaming. Austria forward. Sabitzer drills over the cross. Fine finish at the far post, and Austria lead, and it's Stefan Leiner with an outstretched right foot. It was pinged over by Sabitzer, and Stefan Leiner running in gets the opening goal of the game after 18 minutes. Austria ahead 1-0.
That's something out of nothing. And Sabitzer, who's been getting more and more frustrated, actually gets the ball higher up than he has been from the start of the game. Just fires over across on the angle, and it's like it's just a run against Alioski on the far side, and Alioski, not a defender by trade, gets caught out, ball watching, doesn't know where his man in it. It's a great volley finish at the far post. Composure and control, and tremendous athleticism to get up as high as he did to convert the chance. And after all the frustration of the opening few minutes, that'll settle them down.
I mean, that must be around waist height, where he's guided it right-footed back across goal to give Austria the lead. Austria 1, North Macedonia 0. But we talked about Sabitzer. We've seen Sabitzer play. We were together in Leipzig last year, weren't we? But what a pass that was from Sabitzer. And Austria now buoyed are coming forward with Lima, the little back heel. Sabitzer slides in, and the referee blows his whistle. A little bit of over-exuberance. And again, it was another challenge on Enis Bardi, where the two of them had clashed previously. So the red-faced official now, don't think he's raging, it's hard to tell, but he's just having a word with Sabitzer.
It's just a Sabitzer turn around and shrug. This is what? It's just a slide tackle that I didn't quite get right, and he's got a point. It's wet surface, went in a little bit too strongly. But North Macedonia will be disappointed because they didn't really put any pressure on Sabitzer, and out of this team you're thinking the players of real quality. Alaba's gone into centre-half, so he's no longer a threat. Out of the rest of them, Sabitzer's the one that you would highlight, and obviously not done the homework. Well, they'll be fed up with the sight of Stefan Leiner, because he actually scored the winning goal against North Macedonia in November 2019, when they won by 2-1 in Austria when they met in the group stages for qualifying. Austria, who finished second, 6 points behind Poland, but clearly buoyed by the goal now. They're forward. Hinteregger's cross from the left-hand side, and Alioski heads it back. Producer George says the face of the referee is the same colour as your T-shirt. I would say your T-shirt's more pink. Salmon pink, this, George. Thank you.
Yeah. His face is a stronger colour than salmon pink. I think you only get salmon pink when you just a little stroll out into the sun. He's been out there for hours to get.
Not in Manchester, you're not getting any salmon pink.
Not in Bucharest, judging by the rain either. Austria 1, North Macedonia 0. But only the third goal as well that Austria have scored in the European Championships. It's their third Euros. They've never won in their 6 matches. It's the longest wait for any nation. So providing that this game doesn't end in a draw, it's going to be a little bit of history one way or the other. Austria with their first victory, or the debutants, North Macedonia, who are now going to have to come from behind if they're to claim the 3 points, because they're trailing by 1-0 on BBC Radio 5 Live. And later on, Netherlands against Ukraine in the other match in Group C. But Austria now, Sabitzer with the cross, little flick, and it was an opportunity that Kolajic, he got connection with the right foot, but it was straight at the goalkeeper, Dimitrievski.
Yeah, that's a tough chance for the big man, the big centre forward, unmarked at 6'5". They've got 3 centre halves in there, and they all ignored him. Just tried to flick it with the outside of his boot as the ball's pace was dying. He tried to put some extra impetus on it, but he just couldn't guide it past the keeper. So chances are starting to come now. It's Hinterrugger actually, out of anybody driving forward, that's created the change, created the difference, because from there, I'm not really sure what to do when the centre-half's gone forward.
When we had Christian Fuchs on 5 Live ahead of the England warm-up game, he was saying about how Kalajdzic has given them a little bit something different. I mean, Arnautovic is on the bench, but he hasn't really played of late for Austria on a regular basis, that is. And so Kalajdzic has scored 3 goals in his 7 appearances for his country, and making up for lost time. He joined Stuttgart in 2019, but after only 6 appearances, got a bad knee injury. He did his cruciate, and therefore he's had to get back into the rhythm. He scored 16 goals in the Bundesliga this season, and it was certainly an opportunity for Austria, who lead by a goal to nil. 23 minutes played on 5 Live. The tennis continues on 5 Live Sports Extra. England's cricketers earlier lost the second test at Edgbaston by 8 wickets. New Zealand 41 for 2 to claim the series. Better fortunes, of course, for the footballers, beating Croatia by a goal to nil. And if you missed all of that live reaction from John Murray, our correspondent at Wembley, with the players and Gareth Southgate, you'll be able to hear it on the Daily Euros podcast. The news, the interviews and the analysis every morning through BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. Austria lead North Macedonia by a goal to nil. Past the midway point in this first half, and Pandev quickly tackled, and Alioski gets a free kick in favour of North Macedonia. And up until that point, you couldn't probably really see Austria scoring, Rob.
No, it was out of nothing. First real opportunity, first real strike on target, and it really has settled them down. They're now pressing a lot better. They're a lot more cohesive. When they go forward, they're playing with that bit more confidence, and it's difficult for North Macedonia to see a way of who's going to get on the ball and actually create something now, because Austria are just looking a bit more proactive on and off the ball.
Pandev plays the ball out, and now it's with Stefan Ristovski. Short forward ball. Bardi gets onto the end of it, clipped though by Hinteregger. He was just too sharp there for Hinteregger, and gives away a free kick. So North Macedonia on that right-hand side, about 6 yards in from the right touch line, but quite a high line by the black shirts of Austria to protect the Watford goalkeeper Daniel Bachmann. So Alioski, who's just placed the ball down after giving it a little kiss, and so this is going to be an in-swinging free kick from the right-hand side. North Macedonia are looking for an equaliser, trailing by a goal to nil. Kalajdzic is using his tall frame, and he's back there on defensive duties too. They've gathered, very congested, into the penalty area. The ball comes forward now, only partially dealt with, but the referee had spotted an infringement. And let's get an update back with the tennis, the French Open, the final. Russell Fuller.
We're heading to a 5th and final set. Novak Djokovic has won the 4th set comfortably by 6 games to 2. He was 2 sets down to Stefanos Tsitsipas, but now we're into a decider as Djokovic tries to win a 19th Grand Slam singles title.
And commentary is on 5 Live Sports Extra. This is 5 Live. Austria lead by a goal to nil, and the goal scorer Stefan Leiner unable to keep the ball in play as it raced away from him. Alioski of Leeds United with a throw down towards Tchaikovsky. Little flick there by Kalajdzic. Headed on now by Baumgartner. Back heels the ball, but keeps the ball in play, but there was nobody behind him, and actually just presents it to the white of North Macedonia as Alioski was fouled. And it'll go out of play anyway, but I think it's going to be a free kick. Oh no, it's a throw. I'm saying it's a throw to Alioski.
It's good energy by Austria, pressing there. Now 3-4 players pressing North Macedonia in the corner of their own half, and just can't get out. And all of a sudden, the life in this Austrian team has really come through.
Stefan Ristovski. Nikolov back towards the goalkeeper Dmitrievski, who Sweeps it away downfield, strikes the shoulder of Schlager. Picked up now by Bardi. Passes the ball to Elmas with the dark floppy hair. Out to Alioski, infield. Little flick, a lazy flick by Hinteregger. Almost breaks towards Trajkovski. And North Macedonia have scored. They have levelled Austria. What was happening in their defence? But Goran Pandev, the captain, the talisman for North Macedonia, the player who sealed their qualification against Georgia, has sent the North Macedonian supporters into raptures, and North Macedonia have equalised, and an emotional Goran Pandev looks to the skies. It's 1-1.
It's a horrendous goal to concede, but North Macedonia will not care. What a moment for the talisman, scoring the goal. It's Hinteregger with just trying to clear the ball straight into his teammate. Backman sliding out, wet surface, collides with his own teammate and the centre forward, and it just drops to Pandev. Couldn't miss, 12 yards out, open goal, cool as you like, slides it home. But you normally say there's 3 mistakes in a goal. There's 2 massive ones there from Austria that just hand them that opportunity.
Well, the first from Hinteregger was a lazy clearance. It was just a lazy swish of the leg, and it presented that opportunity to Trajkovski. And then with the collision of the goalkeeper, it broke to Pandev, and his 38th goal for his country. Certainly the most famous one that he's scored, but one of the easiest.
It's actually, he took a touch before he rolled it in just to open up the goal even wider. He's had it gaping 12 yards out, virtually on the penalty spot, just rolled it into an empty net. It was one that we were saying just can't see where we're going to score from. And it was Alioski who actually gave the ball away with a poor ball into the middle, and then from there, Austria just really committing suicide with it.
So we're back all square, and North Macedonia on their debut in the European Championship finals have got their first goal, and it's with Goran Pandev, and it's 1-1, and the supporters jumping up and down in unison now, many of them decked in the red and the yellow, as a rueful shake of the head from Alaba, and Austria will certainly wonder how they were in that position to gift North Macedonia the goal. And when we were off air, I was saying to you, I said, how are we going to sell this game? And you said, what you say, it's going to be a feast of football?
I said, goals, 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 Deno.
One of our engineers, Rob Dyball, for every major tournament, when we're normally set up in a host country rather than, of course, spread out over the 11 different countries as it is for Euro 2020, in the main hub, that all the logistics and all the engineering and all the planning takes place, and they have a piece of paper normally on the wall where they have the golden mic competition. Normally I'm floundering, I'm at the bottom. I remember being in the World Cup in 2006. I think I'd done 7 games and didn't commentate on a goal until Ghana scored after 68 seconds in the Czech Republic. I was toying with the idea of doing the old Mexican commentary, you know, the old goal. Anyway, after seeing Italy win 3-0 on the opening night, and now 2 already, I must be well ahead. I must be the bookie's favourite now to win it.
Just commentate on every game from now on in.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll win.
Goals magnet. 1-1, Austria North Macedonia, BBC Radio 5 Live. Alaba out towards that far side to Sabitzer, and we've got about 12 minutes to go to half time. I had got a story about Franco Foda, which it's pretty risque, but with the amount of action and the goals that we've seen, we might not have to tell that story in the second half. The editor might be pleased. Dragovic is forward. They've lost the ball, though, of Austria. Alioski plays it to Pandev. Holds up the ball very, very well. He was caught by Schlager. That'll be a free kick. Very good at that, isn't he? He actually retired in 2013, but he returned in 2016. And I bet he's so pleased that his name is being chanted now by the supporters. But, you know, he won the Champions League in 2010, and here he is, back still representing his country, what, 5 years after he returned to the international fold, and he's got the goal that has seen his side equalise with Austria. As Alioski, it's a pulled ball from 10 yards inside his own half. It's forced Nikolov to retreat a long way on that right-hand side, back towards Stefan Ristovski. Ball played back out towards that far side, and then played back towards the goalkeeper, Dimitrievski. Responded well.
Yeah, they've done well. Showed composure on the ball. They're trying to play, giving it away at times, but staying confident, believing in themselves. It's interesting with Pandev coming back. Golovsky, probably one of the closest relationships of anyone in the team is with Pandev. I think it's almost a joint management partnership that they have, and what an important role he plays within this side.
Yeah, I think even to the country as well. He's more than just a captain of the country, as Baumgartner tries to work his way through the North Macedonian defence, and in the end it's Stefan Ristovski who has to concede the corner kick. BBC Radio 5 Live with 11 minutes to go to half time. It's one apiece. I'm sure we'll reflect at the break on England's victory against Croatia, although we had so much live reaction from John Murray when Mark Chapman was presenting. But we'll be hearing from Raheem Sterling as the referee, Andreas Ekberg, just once again cutting out a little bit of nonsense, jostling that is taking place, that still continues inside that penalty area. They'll be looking to try and clamp down on that, will UEFA's officials. It's a corner kick, it's 1-1, it's 5 live. Alaba to take it, plenty of pace on it. Punched away two-handed by Dimitrievski, the goalkeeper, headed back in, headed down, and then eventually volleyed away and cleared by North Macedonia. But there is a head injury there. I think it might well be Stefan Ristovski who's down, and therefore the referee has a stoppage in play to make sure that he's okay. A nasty bang on the back of the head.
He's been everywhere. It's an arm, flailing arm from Hinteregger in the face, on the top of the head, in the walls.
The goal that North Macedonia has scored, their only shot on target. They will not care a jot. They're level, and they're about 10 minutes away from half-time after Austria had taken the lead through Liner after 18 minutes. And in fact, just seeing an image that after the goal, Liner picked up a shirt that just said Eriksson stay strong. Obviously we mentioned earlier on that there was that message on the giant screen, best wishes Christian, ahead of kick-off. And I listened in on the press conference earlier on from the Danish FA with the sporting director Peter Muller, the team doctor Morten Boersen, and the head coach Kasper Hjulmand earlier, and so much detail in it, and so much interesting aspects to it. But the most was when the doctor said that he was gone. We did cardiac resuscitation, it was a cardiac arrest, we got him back after one defib. The medics who tended to Eriksson yesterday, absolutely superb, as was the team, for which the coach said, I'm really proud to be a coach of the team, the way that they responded, what they did. Team spirit, compassion and love, really strong signal for what football is all about. And here we're watching the game, and it's 1-1. And Schlager plays it back to Liner, up to Kalajdzic. There will of course be so much on the BBC Sport website as well about the latest regarding Christian Eriksson, who remains in hospital and stable. Here is Trajkovski, shifts it on the inside, looked like he was going to shoot from distance. Instead he passes the ball to Stefan Ristovski, who shoots from about 25 yards out, but his effort right-footed was always on the rise. 1-1, 5 live, 8 minutes to go to half-time.
It's been all North Macedonia for the last couple of minutes, camped in Austria's half. Best bit of possession they've had during the game, and as you say, responded well and showing the confidence on the ball. They're not afraid to try things. Trajkovski's is a bag of tricks. It's good skills, 30 yards out, made a good choice, but then a wayward shot, but growing in confidence.
Schlager lifts the ball long. It was aimed towards Baumgartner, climbed high on the edge of the area, downward header into the path of Stola Dimitrievski, the bearded goalkeeper, all in yellow, and he hurls the ball out overarm, zips across the wet surface to Alioski, the left wing back, and his header is dealt with by Dragovic, but I'm not too sure that Liner kept that ball in play, and indeed he didn't. And so now on the left-hand side for North Macedonia at 1-1, they have a throw for North Macedonia. They haven't stopped singing throughout the whole game. The vociferous North Macedonian support, great backing. Here, Elmas forward, left-hand side, dancing around the ball. Liner dives in, Elmas brings the ball away, twists and turns, and in the end they had to double up on him. It was Lima, the midfielder, who got the challenge in, and then Lima is felled, and that'll be a free kick to Austria. But a little bit of trickery there from Elef Elmas, the Napoli midfielder.
He's the one that likes to drift. He comes out onto this left-hand side and combines up with Alioski to provide the biggest threat.
Austria are attacking the end where a lot of the North Macedonian supporters are housed, to the right-hand side. Alaba, Dragovic. Alaba going back though, playing as the central figure in a three-man defence. And again, because of North Macedonia just pressing, they're forced to go back. Alaba now gets and takes over from Bachmann, his goalkeeper, outside of his penalty area.
I'm not sure why Alaba doesn't switch with Hinteregger, become the left-hand side, the left centre-back, as opposed to the central one of the three like he is now. Yes, you can dictate play, but generally as that centre-back, you've only got two passes, and that's to the one either side of you.
Yeah.
So you're looking at it going, Hinteregger's bombed forward a few times. Surely Alaba's the man for that, to go forward into the midfield.
Well, we saw that as the ball comes out to Lima, passes the ball back to Alaba, who's now on the ball outside the centre circle in the North Macedonian half. Kolajic back to Lima, now to Liner, the right wing back, gets the ball out from underneath his feet, attacks it, sends over the cross, headed away by Stefan Risovski, goes back out towards Liner, pops onto his head, level with the penalty area for North Macedonia, and it'll go out of play for an Austrian throw. We saw that though with Chiellini, didn't we, the other night with Italy, how he was able to carry the ball forward and cause a number of problems as Italy attacked and dominated.
If you said to North Macedonia, where do you want Alaba to play, you'd probably say as far away from our goal as possible, please.
Well, Christian Fuchs thinks that his best position has got to be in the middle, but I don't think he was necessarily referring to the middle of the back three. Sabitzer out to that far side. Ulmer back with Sabitzer once again. Sabitzer's cross goes in. Baumgartner is checked there, but nothing untoward in that challenge with Velkovsky. But he's gone down holding his face, and they'll just check on him to make sure that he's okay. And he's flat out on his back, but it was just he ran into the left shoulder of Velkovsky.
Yeah, I think it was more of a shock than anything, just didn't even see the defender. Velkovsky just turned around, shrugged the shoulders and raises his arms to say, well, I couldn't get out of the way, and just genuinely didn't know that he was there, and he's just in a bit of a daze.
4 minutes to go to half-time. Don't forget tomorrow, breakfast with Nicky and Rachel from 6 o'clock, and on every day when the home nations are playing on 5 Live, breakfast will be out and about, getting a feel for the nation, feel for the atmosphere, and I'm sure tomorrow there might be an extra bounce in the step of Nicky Campbell as he makes his way to St Ninian's School in East Renfrewshire, which is actually Andy Robertson's old school where he was the team captain, because of course tomorrow afternoon, after we've watched Wales and today England, it's Scotland's turn. Of course in England's Group D, live from Hampden, Vicky Sparks and Pat Nevin against the Czech Republic. And a reminder that when games are live on BBC television, as that one is tomorrow, you can listen, you've got the option to listen to 5 Live's commentary via the BBC iPlayer. A yellow card has been shown whilst I've just been talking about that, and it's been shown to Alexander Trajkovski, the forward for North Macedonia.
Yeah, went up for a long ball, just got it wrong, raised his arm up into the face of Dragovic. Was genuinely apologetic and seemingly realising that he just a genuine mistake, and the reaction of the North Macedonian players was they knew that it was actually a bad blow to the face of Dragovic, who's down getting treatment now.
Yeah, the physios are attending to him, the two physios kneeling over Dragovic, who had not the best of spells at Leicester City, just 16 appearances, but very, very experienced for Austria. This is his 91st cap for the 30-year-old defender, who now plays with Bayer Leverkusen. But BBC Radio 5 Live, 2 minutes to go to half-time. We'll be hearing from Raheem Sterling, England's match winner in that 1-0 victory against Croatia at half-time. But North Macedonia and Austria 1-1. But this is a lengthy stoppage, and there will be a number of minutes to be added on, as still Dragovic is down on the floor getting treatment.
I think going into half-time, North Macedonia will be absolutely thrilled with how this first half has gone. They took the only opportunity that they've had and stayed in the game when they went behind and stayed confident. Seeing the replays, the celebrations of the fans, something that they'll all remember, something that Pandev himself trying to raise the spirits, raise the atmosphere within the ground. He's certainly done that throughout this half.
Remarkable career that Goran Pandev has had. He's the all-time top scorer and appearance maker for his country, and I guess it had to be him for the first goal that they've ever scored in the Euros as they make their debuts. The lowest ever ranked side to qualify for the European Championship finals. We're inside the last 60 seconds of normal time at 1-1 on 5 Live. We're also live, of course, on the World Service from the BBC. But there will be a lot of added on time, I'm sure, as Sabitzer is forward, sends over the cross, headed back, liner, volleys the ball in towards the penalty area. It was aimed towards Kalajdzic, and it's been turned behind by Velovsky for a corner kick.
It's good defending. Went with his wrong foot in the end, but realised he just had to make contact, get something on the ball, because 6 yards out on the volley, knocking it into an empty net. Had to make the intervention, just had to get the ball in the air. Did so.
So as the 45 minutes have now ticked by, we're into added on time, which there are only 2 minutes. That's a surprise. In comes the corner from Alaba, outswinger, headed away by Velkovsky. I'm sure that he was down for longer than 2 minutes, Dragovic.
He was struggling for a while. It looked like a bad collision. Bad elbow, I should say, really, because it was a bad challenge.
So just the 2 minutes of added on time. 5 Live, 1-1, Austria, North Macedonia. Kalajdzic back to Ulmer, the left back. Sabitzer, 3 white shirts were around Sabitzer. Out for it goes for another throw. Austria want to try and take the ball quickly. The next commentary later on tonight on 5 Live is Netherlands against Ukraine in Amsterdam. Alistair Bruce Ball and Izzy Christiansen, assuming of course that the two of them have made contact together, because when Ali called Izzy the other day, she was in a bit of a hurry, couldn't take the call. We were trying to recommunicate as the cross comes in from Sabitzer once again, looking for that run of Liner, the right wing back round the back, and out of play it goes for another throw. So Austria looking to try and finish the half strongly in stoppage time, for which we have got about 30 seconds remaining. Headed forward by Lima. Liner is there as well. We've got a Lima and a Liner for Austria, and then Pandev falls to the floor, but the referee gives the decision against North Macedonia. It'll be another Austria throw. All very, very scrappy.
Just can't get any quality on the ball. The pressing is good from both sides. The work rate and commitment's there, but lacking in quality of Bits. Sabitza's the one who's been able to find that space, as we're talking about.
You take away Sabitzer, though, they're a functional side, aren't they, Austria?
You just need to get him on the ball in that area and make runs, because he's got the quality of the pass.
So the half-time whistle has sounded in the National Arena in Bucharest, and it's Austria 1, North Macedonia 1. It was Leiner, the right wing-back, who gave Austria the lead after 18 minutes, but after 2 errors in a real defensive mix-up for Austria, it was Pandev who equalised 10 minutes later. The opening game in Group C, at the break, Austria 1, North Macedonia 1.
Well, it's a great occasion, isn't it, Rob, for both these sets of fans. But what a moment for the thousands of North Macedonian supporters watching on in Bucharest. And for it to be 37-year-old Goran Pandev, the goal scorer, I mean, it's a great story, isn't it, if they can get something out of this?
Absolutely, and it couldn't have been anybody else. And it was it erupted the stadium. And from the start of the game, the atmosphere that they've created in and around the ground has been brilliant. And just that moment alone, that will be something that will stick with them for the rest of their lives.
The stuff of dreams for North Macedonia, but a nightmare for Dan Bachmann, the Watford goalkeeper. He's had a great 6 months, broken through, earned his place at number 1, and then it came crashing down when he conceded that goal. I mean, what kind of challenge, Rob, does he now face, putting that behind him over the break?
Well, unfortunately for him, he's hardly touched the ball since then, and it's one that you're kind of looking at it thinking, you're not going to have to do too much in that goal. It's the only shot that North Macedonia have had, and it was unfortunate because it's very, very wet, very, very slippy. It actually slid out, did it well, was very brave in coming out for the ball, but collided with Alaba and Tchaikovsky coming into the penalty area, and it just fell so kindly. You're going to get them as a goalkeeper, and you're hoping that it falls to a defender. It didn't, and it's cost the side, and all he can do now is probably stand and watch and hope and pray that his teammates get another goal in this game.
Rob Green, Ian Dennis, thank you. Won't be long until they're back with us for the second half of Austria against North Macedonia. Half-time in that game, it is 1 apiece. During the break, we're going to be dropping into Roland Garros and see what is shaping up to be an epic men's final. Novak Djokovic, Stefanos Tsitsipas. It has gone to a 5th set. We're also going to be getting some England reaction after their win over Croatia a little bit earlier. That's all after the news on 5 Live with Stuart Clarkson.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Denmark team doctor has confirmed Christian Eriksen suffered cardiac arrest when he collapsed during yesterday's match with Finland. Dr. Morten Bersen said in hindsight he felt the game shouldn't have been rescheduled so soon afterwards, and also said the Danish players and staff were visited by a psychologist last night. More information will be released tomorrow about the next stage in the easing of England's COVID restrictions. Ministers are deciding whether to go ahead as planned on the 21st of June or to delay for a certain period because of the impact of the Delta variant. The Prime Minister says no final decision has been made yet. Government figures, meanwhile, show a further 8 people have died within 28 days of testing positive for COVID-19. Just under 7,500 new cases were recorded in the latest 24-hour period. The G7 summit in Cornwall finished this afternoon with member states agreeing to deliver more than 1 billion coronavirus vaccinations to poorer countries and raise $100 billion to help them cut carbon emissions. Amid rising tensions about Brexit, the French President Emmanuel Macron said the treaty must be respected.
Il ne faut pas renvoyer à l'Union européenne.
One mustn't make the EU have to deal with incoherences that one was well aware of at the start. Everyone has to come back to reason. My wish is that we collectively implement what we decided on a few months ago, calmly with mutual respect. Having disagreements every morning won't help.
And after leaving Cornwall and the G7 in the last hour, President Biden and the First Lady Jill Biden have been having tea with the Queen at Windsor Castle. He's become the 13th US president to meet the monarch during her reign.
BBC 5 Live.
The voice of the UK, Stacey Dooley. Fresh starts.
I'm Stacey Dooley. Join me as we get ready to shake off the last year and start afresh. I'm talking to people who have swapped beauty salons for shellfish and traded in the 9 to 5 to fight crime. I don't know anyone who hasn't had a fresh start. I just think it's really important to celebrate the victories, however big or small they are. I'll be chatting to some really incredible people. My new podcast, Stacey Dooley Fresh Starts. Listen now, only on BBC Sounds.
5 Live Sport
with Emma Saunders.
So half-time then, it's Austria 1, North Macedonia 1 in Bucharest. We're going to be back soon with second half commentary from Ian Dennis and Rob Green. But before that, we can just drop into Roland Garros, where it's gone to a fifth and final set in the men's final at the French Open. Naomi Cavaday can bring us the latest.
It's been a huge turnaround for the world number one. He was trailing by 2-0 to Stefanos Tsitsipas, the 22-year-old of Greece. But then he's won sets 3 and 4, 3 and 2. Very, very comfortable through those, and he's now a break-up in the fifth. It is quite extraordinary to watch what we're seeing. He has never come back from 2-0 down in a final before, and he's looking for his 19th Slam title.
I think after the brutal match with Nadal on Friday, we all wondered how much Djokovic would have in the tank. But you said it yourself, it's an extraordinary comeback, isn't it? But he shows he's still got it, Djokovic.
Well, he's winning the physical battle against the 22-year-old. You would think that maybe he would have the engine, but really he's just exhausted out here, Tsitsipas. And Djokovic looks absolutely fresh as a daisy after that brutal match he had in the semi-finals. He really has lifted the energy big time.
If Djokovic does go on to win, what about Tsitsipas? Do you think he'll look back on this and think he's done anything wrong, or is he just being outplayed?
It's just the physical nature of it. I think it's his first time in a Slam final. The first 2 sets were perfect. He could not have asked for more from himself. It was fantastic tennis. He just cannot sustain it against the solid rock that is Djokovic at the other end of the court. And I think it will develop. He will win Grand Slams in the future, but it doesn't look like he's going to get this one.
Naomi, thank you. That match does continue to finish right now on 5 Live Sports Extra. One other bit of tennis news to bring you before we move on. Johanna Konta has won her first title for 4 years, beating China's Zhang Shui at the Nottingham Open. So the French Open tennis continuing on 5 Live Sports Extra. But here on 5 Live Sport, we're across the Euros for the afternoon. England winning their opening game for the first time ever after beating Croatia 1-0 at Wembley a little bit earlier on. That was thanks to Raheem Sterling's first goal at a major tournament.
Phillips makes a run, he gets away from Guardiol, then he beats Chalata, plays it to Sterling, and Sterling through the middle forces his shot past the goalkeeper and in! And England have their first goal here at the Euros. They're 1-0 up on Croatia.
It's great to break that duck. But at the same time, I'm focused, not really taking into account. I haven't scored in a major tournament before. I think that the most important thing is to try and win here, and that was the most important thing today. And it's good to get on the score sheet. I'm a person that's hungry for goals, but at the same time, I know the true value of a team, and I think today was a great team effort. You could see it's not conditions that we're used to, and we dug deep as a team, and I've blocked the outside world off and just tried to focus on coming into this tournament with a clear head. Fully focused to help my team, and that's the most important thing. I haven't tried to listen to any noise outside, focus on myself. I know what I can bring to the team, and it's as simple as that.
The former England goalkeeper Rob Green is with us. Rob, let's face it, there's debates around this England team all over the pitch, whether it's the back line, the midfield or the front three. Sterling did get the nod today. Some of his critics would have said, listen, he's not been too in form in the second half of this season, but he was in that lineup and he's made a statement today, hasn't he, by scoring that all-important goal.
Yeah, and he hasn't been in form, and that's not to say, Raheem Sterling's all of a sudden become a bad player, and Gareth Southgate knows that. He knows that he can trust Raheem with the instructions, with the way that the team plays, with the options that he brings as a player, and I think that's the key thing within this squad. You're looking at the team, and who else is there to pick, and you could say, well, Rashford or Grealish, and those are the options that he has. But he's saying, well, at this moment in time, I need in this game, I need runners in behind. I need runners in behind Harry Kane, and that's where the goal came from. And I think he'll feel justified. I think Gareth Southgate will feel justified. And you know what? The next game, it might need something different, and they might pick someone different. So at this moment in time, I'm thrilled that he scored. Hopefully, it'll find that bit of form, that bit of something that he's needed in his game, just that bit of belief maybe. But he'll be on top of the world now, and that's brilliant for him and brilliant for England.
Well, it was Calvin Phillips who provided the assist to Sterling's goal, and his performance this afternoon in midfield has been highly praised. Gareth Southgate says he's had his eye on Phillips for a few years now.
We watched him a lot last season, or the season before last in the Championship. We were going to bring him in to the squad ahead of the Euros a year ago, He's now had a year of Premier League football. He's technically good, and we also knew that the athleticism today in midfield was going to be so important. We had to get tight to their three midfield players, and Mason, Calvin and Declan did that really well, along with the wide players helping out and Harry taking up the right positions. So they did a lot of the job for the defence to limit the opportunities. And Calvin is a fabulous boy to work with, so unassuming. And I thought his performance was outstanding. The two passes in the first half in behind the defence were top level, and the contribution for the goal summed his day up, really.
Well, that was Gareth Southgate speaking there. We'll have more reaction to England's win over Croatia after 7 o'clock tonight, at which point we'll also be building up to our third game of the day. So it's the second game in Group C. Netherlands will be taking on Ukraine, kicking off at 8 o'clock. But right now it's half-time in Bucharest in the game between Austria and North Macedonia, where it's 1 apiece. Elsewhere today, New Zealand have beaten England by 8 wickets in the second Test match at Edgbaston to win the series 1-0. England were all out for 122 after they lost their final wicket on the first ball of the day, leaving New Zealand needing just 38 runs to win. Joe Root told Jonathan Agnew England just haven't been good enough.
It's not been our best week, has it? I think we've massively underperformed. Credit to New Zealand, they've outplayed us throughout the game, and it's a tough one to take because fully thought at the start of the week we could come here and win the series, and in all departments we probably could have been a little bit better if we're being brutally honest, but dust ourselves off, pick ourselves back up. We've got a lot of cricket still to play this summer, a lot of exciting cricket as well, and we're a talented bunch of players, so we'll definitely come back stronger.
You'll have seen, I'm sure, or read or heard various comments about batsman's technique and so on, particularly at that top order. Is that something that you will look at? I mean, do you agree that there are some unusual batting techniques in England's top order when you compare it to like the very straightforward, simple techniques of your opponents?
All I'd say on batting is there's no right or wrong way to bat. You look at some of the best players in the world and none of them bat the same. They've all got different techniques, they've all got different styles, but they've all got a very clear way of how they want to score the runs. They've got a good balance between defence and attack. They manage situations well, different conditions well, and I think more than anything that's what we've got to look to improve on. We've got to make sure that we recognise what the dangers are, we know where we're going to score runs, and we can make good decisions under pressure for long periods of time. And ultimately, I think that's the art of Test batting, and it's something that we've just got to be a little bit more consistent of. New Zealand they've schooled us a little bit on that this week, and you've got to learn from your opposition time to time. Whether it's a technical thing or not, I'm not necessarily sure. I think mindset-wise, how we approach different things is certainly something that we can maybe be a little bit smarter at.
Is this a spanner in the works? I mean, are you going to go away and reflect on the squad of players and think, are these players the ones who are good enough to go to Australia?
Look, we've got 5 more tests, and that's right at the back end of the year. There's a lot of cricket to be played between now and then, and ultimately that's a decision that we've got time to make. So the general core of this group of players has been the same for a good while now, and there's been some good performances within that. So I think it's not a time to panic. You look at previous tours when we've been to Australia, we've had massive overhauls going into major tournaments, whether that be one-day cricket, major series like the Ashes, like India. We just got to stay calm, stay relaxed, and trust what we've been doing for a long time now. And I think that's going to be really important.
So all the reaction to that defeat on the TMS podcast, which you can get from BBC Sounds. Right here on 5 Live Sport, we've got second half commentary on the way of Austria against North Macedonia. If it's the tennis that you're after, the men's final at the French Open, it has gone to a 5th and final set. Novak Djokovic 4-2 up against Stefanos Tsitsipas, so just 2 games away from winning his 19th Grand Slam title. We're, though, building up to second half commentary in Bucharest. So with that, we'll rejoin our commentary team, senior football reporter Ian Dennis and the former England goalkeeper Rob Green. It looks as if the players are just emerging from the tunnel, Rob. Fascinating second half ahead, because I imagine with the 2 other teams in this group being Netherlands and Ukraine, both these teams are probably marking this as a must-win if they've got any chance of getting out of the group.
Yeah, either team could win it. This is the fascinating thing, because you're looking at the way that they've performed in the first half, and Austria, they've got the quality players if they can get them on the ball near enough the Macedonia goal, and Macedonia aren't good enough to defend it as a compact unit for another 45 minutes. They can't keep them out if they get the quality players on the ball. But North Macedonia have that threat, and they have a way of playing that does exploit the Austrian backline. And if they can get at them, they didn't do enough in the first half, but they benefited from that horrendous mistake. And so it's one that you're looking at, you're saying, well, you can't actually call it in the second half.
Well, with both sets of players now out on the pitch, I'll hand it over to you both for second half commentary. Rob Green alongside Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Emma. Just to let you know, there's been a change at the start of the second half, and Dragovic has not reappeared. So he's been replaced by Philipp Leinhardt, who plays for Freiburg, and it's only his 5th appearance for his country, the blonde-haired defender. So he replaces Dragovic as the second half is underway. Austria 1, North Macedonia 1. Sounds as if it's coming to a conclusion in the French Open men's tennis final between Novak Djokovic and Stefanos Tsitsipas, which currently is on 5 Live Sports Extra. When it gets to match point, we will get the closing stages here on 5 Live. But 1-1 back underway in this opening game in Group C. And North Macedonia, in all white, playing from left to right, have Dimitrievski in goal, a back three of Velkovsky, Stefan Ristovski and Musilu. The wing-backs, Nikolov and Alioski of Leeds United. Midfield three, Bardi, Ademi and Elmas. Tchaikovsky and the goal scorer, Pandev, up front. Austria in their black shirts and turquoise shorts. Daniel Bachmann, the goalkeeper. A back three now of Leinhardt, Hinteregger and Alaba. Leiner and Ulmer are the wing-backs, right and left respectively. You've got Schlager and Leimer with Sabitzer, Baumgartner and Kalajdzic up front. Free kick then, Bardi to take it for North Macedonia. Headed away by Baumgartner, carried forward by Tchaikovsky, and then maybe a handball against Alioski as Leimer tried to bring the ball clear. There's been a number of instances, hasn't there, where it's just gotten a little bit edgy between the players. Again, there was a little bit of pushing and shoving going on off the ball there.
Yeah, invariably with Alioski involved. Or Sabitzer in the first half was getting in people's faces, and Ristovski, pretty much everybody on the whole pitch was getting in each other's faces. So something that could bubble over.
So 1-1. It's easy to forget that in parts of the UK, glorious weather, as in Bucharest, it's raining, and as Hinteregger once again is forward on the left-hand side, Bardi closes him down. He delivers the cross. It's headed away by Velkovsky, only as far as Sabitzer, lifts it in. Kalajdzic pulls the ball back. Leimer tries to thread it through. He was trying to pick out Baumgartner, but it was cleared away by the North Macedonian defence. I had a text from a good friend of mine who said, I'm going to get salmon pink for 15 minutes in the garden, so I'm like the referee, but only 15 minutes because I'll be back for the second half. But he certainly won't be topping up his tan in the rain in Bucharest, that's for sure, will the Swedish official Andreas Ekberg. As Alioski clears. Now it's with Elmas. Tricky player, midfielder, only 21 years of age, holding on to the ball. He's been linked actually with Benfica as the Napoli player. He played the most in terms of qualifying of the outfield players, 931 minutes, as it breaks now here for Nikolov. And as he tried to run into the penalty area, that was almost a moment that Bachmann would have wanted to forget. It was Sabitzer who passed it back towards him, and just had half a moment where he couldn't get the ball clear before knocking it away downfield. In it goes towards the penalty area again, drops towards Nikolov, down into the ground off his left foot from the edge of the area, and Austria managed to clear. You can sense, I mean, it was something that we talked about in the build-up to the game, and again Emma mentioned it to you at the start of the second half, because both sides need the win, and you can sense that there is that urgency from both Austria and North Macedonia, knowing what's to come in Group C.
And it's an open group as well. It's one that you're saying that's probably one of the weaker groups out of all these in the Euros. And if you wanted an opportunity to qualify, what sort of group would you like? Well, this is it. And can just feel a little bit of panic setting in with this Austrian team since the goal came, that you're looking at it saying, well, we've created one chance and not much other than that, and then we've given away a goal. So what we're doing here, let's get this right, and they just haven't quite got to grips with it.
That's Rob Green with England, of course, at the World Cup in 2010. Part of the England Euro squad as well 2 years later in Poland and Ukraine, as Alaba tries to lift that ball long for the run of Liner. Short, cropped, dark hair of Liner, the goal scorer, likes to get forward at every opportunity, but couldn't keep that ball in play in the wet conditions, and it goes out of play for a goal kick, and so it remains in the National Arena in Bucharest on BBC Radio 5 Live. Also live on the World Service as well, 1-1 between Austria and North Macedonia, and the Netherlands against Ukraine to come at 8 o'clock from the other game in Group C in Amsterdam later on. Brilliant backing from the North Macedonian supporters. Pandev, Elmas gives chase, almost an opportunity there for Lienhart, and as he just turned away, he was just caught fractionally, and he's back to his feet, but it'll be a free kick to Austria. You sense more goals in the game though, Rob?
Yeah, and you're just looking there that the Austrian team, it's just a long ball forward, and two centre forwards for North Macedonia chased it down. It was only Lienhart tracking back, and all of a sudden he was on his own with the ball, but against two players, and didn't have an option, and I think he was relieved he got fouled there in the end because he was under pressure.
Hinteregger and Alaba just exchanging a few words. The body language at times doesn't seem to be the best for Austria. I just sense a little bit of frustration amongst some of the players as Bardi brings the ball clear, just carries it away from Lima. Passes the ball now out towards Alioski. The Leeds United player runs in field, gives it away, and then actually makes a poor challenge, and he catches Schlager, and the Austrian players have reacted quite badly. And now all of a sudden there's a little bit of pushing and shoving. Ademi and Sabitzer are having to square up to each other. The referee's in control. Alioski at this stage is still sat down, but he went in search of the ball and he caught the Austrian player.
It was a poor touch. He lost control of the ball, then he lost control of himself, and it's a dangerous tackle, and pleading his innocence. I think he'll have had his heart in his mouth when he made the tackle, because he was in the air. Fortunate to get away with the booking.
Well, it's a yellow card from Alioski, but he was stretching into the challenge. His studs were high, weren't they?
That's reckless. I mean, you're seeing it, both feet off the ground. Perhaps the thing that saved him was that his leg wasn't fully straight in the tackle, but he lost complete control, and yes, it's at least a booking, and fortunate, really fortunate. It's not a red.
I'm not aware that I mean, VAR would look at these type of things, but there was no check. According to the monitor, play is back underway. Bastian Dankert from Germany is the VAR official. They're based in UEFA's HQ in Nyon, on the banks of Lake Geneva. As again another challenge comes in again. That was on Schlager. Just starting to, it's getting feisty.
They're just in each other's faces, and Bardi's twisting and turning. He shows some great skills to get out of tight positions, but there, just one player too many and caught him, and yeah, it's getting a bit tetchy.
Cleared away by Stefan Ristovski. His younger brother Milan is also in the squad. Alaba for Austria. Black shirts, turquoise shorts, playing from right to left. BBC Radio 5 Live, 1-1 in Group C. Sliding across the wet surface was the defender Ristovski. Quick throw taken quickly. Austria looking for their first ever win at the Euros. Baumgartner. Ristovski slides in. Baumgartner still trying to wriggle his way through. No passage through though. Sabitzer though has it for Austria. He gives the ball away. Maybe Trajkovski can come forward for North Macedonia. Sabitzer has helped win the ball back for Austria. Now it's with Schlager. Gives the ball away from a promising position. I mean, the quality at times hasn't been the best. However, it's making for an engaging game.
You just don't know what's going to happen, apart from the only thing that you know is going to happen. Someone's going to give it away at some point. The game is being played between the penalty area and the centre circle in North Macedonia's half, because no one can keep hold of the ball long enough to actually sustain any pressure or keep the ball and move forwards with it.
Austria have a throw. It's 1-1. It's 5 live. Throw from the right-hand side. Baumgartner's lifted the ball up into the air. A slice clearance has put his goalkeeper under pressure from Alioski. Dimitrievski came a long way out. He's retreated back towards his goal line. Ulmer with a cross on the left-hand side. The downward header from Kolajic has been intercepted by Velkovsky for North Macedonia, but under pressure. He's passed the ball straight out of play for a throw. He's looking for a free kick. It doesn't materialise, and now it's Austrian voices that urge them on. In it goes. Dimitrievski punches the ball away as that cross came in from the right-hand side, and Austria now putting North Macedonia under a lot of pressure. Sabitzer, who is a quality player for Leipzig, passes the ball to Hinteregger. The central defender is forward. It's a ball towards the far post. Well claimed by the goalkeeper, Dimitrievski. But he's gone down. He's got an injury.
Brilliant goalkeeping and professional work at the end here as well, just going down injured, realising his team's under a load of pressure. They haven't been able to get out of their own half for a good few minutes. Took a clump in coming out for one of the previous crosses, but managed to get up and come again to claim the ball. Just taking a well-earned breather and buying his team a bit of respite.
You say he's taking a well-earned breather. I think that might be quite difficult to breathe. I think he's got a blow to the rib cage.
It was a hat and body shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's of course you'll have been in that position when the goalkeeper's got to come. You've got to come.
And when you get hurt, you've got to get up and get back in your goal again, despite anything, because you know what the referees are like. They won't give you much leeway.
Well, he's 27 years of age. He plays in Spain. He's actually spent almost a decade in Spain since he moved to Granada in 2012. He now plays for Rayo Vallecano. 10 clean sheets in 30 appearances this season. He's been the number one for the last 6 years. But here we're going to see Austria making a change, and Arnautovic is one of the players who's going to be coming on for Austria. So Marko Arnautovic, hardly played of late, has not really been a regular. He did feature in the final warm-up game, not against England, for Austria at the Riverside. Dimitrievski is able to continue, but it's going to be a double change. So they're looking for the quality of Marko Arnautovic, who hasn't scored for his country in 2 years. Admittedly, he's only played 6 occasions since then, so he is going to be coming on. And also we're going to be seeing Michael Gregoric, who's going to be coming on as well, the Augsburg forward. So Gregoric is going to be coming on. It's going to be a double change that is going to be made now by the Austrian coach Franco Foda, who at times, with his risk-averse approach, can sometimes annoy the Austrian supporters. But it's time for a change, and one of the players who's going to be coming off is going to be Christoph Baumgartner. So he comes off, and the other player is Kolajic, the tall striker from Stuttgart. So Gregoric is on, as is Arnautovic, as Djokovic leads 5-4 in the final set. He was 2 sets down at one point against Stefanos Tsitsipas, and we will be there for the match point moment in that French Open tennis final. Commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra, but Arnautovic is on, and he'll be hoping to be Austria's hero. And you think that they've picked up just a point in their 2 previous European Championship campaigns. They were co-hosts, of course, with Switzerland in 2008, and dark horses they were tipped as is Euro 2016, didn't materialise. Just another solitary point in France 5 years ago. 2 goals in their previous 6 games. Yes, they've scored today, but ideally they would have seen this as the perfect opportunity to get a victory. However, you look at their record, 1 win in the last 15 at major tournaments, and that was against the United States in Italia 90. It's been a long wait for the Austrians. Arnautovic will hope to try and make some sort of impact, but half an hour remains, Rob.
Yeah, it's a like-for-like swap, so you can't really see them making much change, and you wonder, yes, he does like to chop and change the formation, but the game seems pretty much set. They'll have the ball, they'll have the pressure. Can they get the quality players on the ball, like Arnautovic, like Sabitzer, enough to create that difference?
We've said at times it's been tetchy, it's been feisty. Austria had the ball at the back with Alaba, and as Arnautovic is just wandering forward, he's pointing an accusing finger at Alioski, the Leeds United player, and again there's that war of words that has been going on. Hinteregger challenges Trajkovski. No foul, says the referee. Schlager towards Ulmer, the left wing back for Austria. Still 1-1, 5 live in the World Service from the BBC. We've been playing for an hour in this opening game in Group C. And now it's with Gregoric. Back to Leinhardt. Schlager switching play towards Sabitzer. The Austrian fans urging Austria on in. Arnautovic looking to Gregoric. Little flick, leaping inside the penalty area. North Macedonia can't keep the ball. Schlager for Austria. Back towards Sabitzer running forward. Sabitzer plays the ball out to Ulmer. Left-hand side. Ulmer, low ball in. Cleared by Elmas for North Macedonia. Pandev plays the ball back. Trajkovski now runs forward. He's got the greater mobility. Alioski's powering up on the outside. Tackled though by Hinteregger. They now try to exploit that gap from the Leeds United player, but it was played up towards Gregoric and he couldn't keep the ball, and it's gone out of play for a throw.
The pass was on. It was there. Alioski had made the run. The gap was there. Just needed the ball in. Wasn't able to provide it. Trajkovski. Then all of a sudden, the opportunity at the other end, and again, wasted.
Now it's going to be the turn of Igor Angelovski, the 45-year-old North Macedonian coach, who's going to be making a change. And the player that he's going to be bringing on is Kostadinov, who is a central midfielder, quite industrious. Actually made his debut against Austria 2 years ago, so he will be coming on for his 11th appearance for North Macedonia, who now on the attack with Alioski. Sliding across though was Liner. It's a throw that they want to take quickly on that left-hand side at 1-1. A draw with what's to come in Group C for these two nations really wouldn't suit either side. Ball played forward. This is an opportunity. North Macedonia with Nikolov. Comes back towards Pandev, hooks it goalwards, and it drops over the top and out for a goal kick. And Nikolov just couldn't take it in his stride.
Just needed a yard, didn't he? An extra yard of pace. Made a fantastic run down the side of Ulmer. Backman was out quick at his feet, managed to get the block on the ball, and Pandev with an outrageous effort. It would have been an incredible goal to score over his shoulder, up over the top of Backman, but was way off target. But there's the threat. It's just, they have that, just that little bit of something that Austria are lacking right now. When they do go forward, it's few and far between, but they're providing more of a threat when they do.
Going to be a double change, in fact. We're also going to be seeing Betulai, who's going to be coming on. Now this will be interesting as to who goes off. It's Trajkovski who's gone off for Kostadinov, so that's a midfielder who's come on for a forward. But the other change is Betulai, who's coming on, and Nikolov has gone off like for like. We're going straight to Paris though. Russell Fuller.
Novak Djokovic has a championship point, having been 2-0 down to Stefanos Tsitsipas. He leads the deciding set by 5-4. It's a very tight and anxious Djokovic, but he leads here 40-30. Orally Taught asks for quiet from the Chatrier Court crowd. Championship point Djokovic at 40-30. Backhand from Tsitsipas. Djokovic hits the forehand. Tsitsipas with a backhand. Djokovic with the backhand. Tsitsipas hits the backhand down the line, and it's a winner. How about that for nerve from the 22-year-old? He saved a championship point in his first Grand Slam final.
Oh my goodness, no wonder the crowd are going absolutely wild out here. The audacity to have come up with that shot right there on match point. Djokovic keen to get on with it.
Annabelle Croft with us on 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra. Deuce, Djokovic again 2 points away. He got the break in the third game of this set. He's found a first serve here. Now he's stepping in to hit the forehand. Tsitsipas with a high backhand, which is in. Djokovic cross-court with a forehand. Forehand down the line from Djokovic. Tsitsipas hits the backhand. Djokovic will hit the backhand. Backhand from Tsitsipas with more pace. Forehand from Tsitsipas cross-court. Djokovic with a forehand down the line. Big backhand from Tsitsipas. Djokovic cross-court with an amazing forehand. Now he steps in to hit the forehand down the line. These two have been slugging it out for 4 hours and 11 minutes on centre court. The same length of time Djokovic needed to beat Rafael Nadal in the semi-finals on Friday night. And still they have the energy to produce a point of such quality, which gives Novak Djokovic a second chance to win a 19th Grand Slam title. He'll be just one behind Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal if he can take this second championship point.
Merci.
Djokovic with the advantage. Championship point number 2. Onto the backhand of Tsitsipas. Drive volley Djokovic to win the title. He's not got hold of it at all. And now the smash from Djokovic to win a 19th Grand Slam title. He's come back from 2 sets to love down to win the French Open for a second time. Legs like jelly, I'm sure. Heart of a lion. Djokovic wins the Australian Open, wins the French Open, and he's now just the one Grand Slam title behind Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal as he soaks up the applause and the adulation on the centre of the Chatrier court. Djokovic from 2 sets to love down, a champion in Paris for a second time.
So that was Djokovic, the world number 1, claiming the French Open title. Back with the football. 1-1 still. Austria have a corner kick, right-hand side. Opening game in Group C. Alaba to take it. Sabitzer crouching near side of the 6-yard box. Behind it goes for a goal kick. Whilst we're away, listening to Djokovic claim that French Open with that 5th and deciding set there in Paris, Dimitrievski made an excellent save for North Macedonia, flying away towards his left-hand side to keep out a flick header from Gregoric.
Yeah, it was a great save. Got set, position well. Beauty of it was for him was that it was at a similar angle to which across from Arnautovic it was coming in, but it was the 2 subs combining something a little bit different. Arnautovic drifting out, putting the cross in, and it was a flicked header just helping it on its way. And as I was saying, on that similar angle, and you can read it and watch it and you know the angle it's going at, and from there you can be comfortable in knowing where that ball is arriving in and around the goal, and it made a fantastic save from it.
Ball is hit long by Alioski midway through the second half. 1-1, both sides going for the win. They know the importance of 3 points in this opening game in Group C. The National Arena in Bucharest. Sabitzer outside the centre circle of his own half. Hinteregger, big, powerful, at times can be a little bit cumbersome on the ball, but as he reaches the halfway line, he passes the ball to Alaba. Schlager, blonde-haired midfielder. Sabitzer looking to try and dictate for Austria, who you sense have the momentum. They're the ones on top. Hinteregger sliding, passes the ball towards Arnautovic, the substitute. North Macedonia play the ball out. Velkovsky gives the ball away though. Hinteregger was stayed up and he passes the ball now to Ulmer. Arnautovic takes over, almost standing still. A little casual flick out towards Sabitzer. 2 quality players looking to combine on the left-hand side. Arnautovic picks out Schlager, shoots, and it was sliced from Schlager, and it was screwed wide, and goal kick, 1-1.
Yes, Sabitzer and Arnautovic combining, and that quality on the ball, that threat. North Macedonia recognised it and dropped immediately, and it created the space on the edge of the box for Schlager, but unfortunately for Austria, that's where they needed Sabitzer and Arnautovic on the edge of the box taking the shot. They'd already moved themselves out wide, so it was chance wasted.
Header on, almost reached Elmas, but Alaba was able to clear. Alioski delivers a ball forward, a lot of pace towards Elmas, and it required Alaba to run back into his penalty area and the Austrian captain to make the clearance. There was a grimace there from Elif Elmas as he couldn't control the ball. I mean, there was a lot of zip on it, on that wet surface, but both sides are looking to try and get the edge in this draw that is currently 1-1 between these two sides.
A huge chance, wasn't it? Wasted opportunity on the edge of the box, just his touch, didn't really get even a good touch and he would have got a shot away. But what is taking Austria 20 passes, it's taking North Macedonia 1 or 2.
Yeah. Well, they've got, no, the throw's gone in favour of Austria. Pandev doesn't agree, waves his arm away in frustration. It was the substitute Kostadinov who went into the challenge with Schlager. Back towards Bachmann for Austria. The goalkeeper clears long, and Velkovic passes the ball all the way back, and it's with Betulai, one of the other substitutes, and Dimitrievski has come out of his penalty area on the right hand side. It's a long clearance. Elmas is onto it. Alaba comes across. Hinteregger also there, deals with it, and Austria have the ball. Alaba snaps at the assistant referee for a flag that didn't materialise. He was snapping at him still while the ball was at his feet. Schlager, Ulmer, left hand side, Sabitzer, still 1-1, under 20 minutes remain. Flag, late flag, as it was headed away by Musliu, one of the 3 central defenders for North Macedonia. Tomorrow, Scotland against the Czech Republic. 5 Live Sport from 1 o'clock. And don't forget, because it's on BBC television, you'll be able to listen to the commentary with that option through the BBC iPlayer. Vicky Sparks and Pat Nevin live from Hampden. Poland, Slovakia to follow. Spain, Sweden after that. And we've still got Netherlands, Ukraine to come tonight. Wall-to-wall football on 5 Live. That's how we like it. 1-1 in Bucharest. 19 minutes remaining. And don't forget, breakfast tomorrow morning. Nicky Campbell at Andy Robertson, where he was the team captain of his school side, St Ninian's School in East Renfrewshire. So Nicky and Rachel from 6 in the morning. They'll always be out and about wherever the home nations are playing during this tournament, as we'll cover every single game. 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra. Ulmer nicks the ball forward, headed away by Stefan Ristovski. That save from Dimitrievich could prove to be so crucial for North Macedonia. Bardi surges forward. Now it's with Betulai, his cross, partially cleared by Alaba, fired in on the volley by Alioski on the edge of the area. It was a brave block coming in from Liner, urged on by the wonderful support. North Macedonia go in search of the winner. It's just an instinctive effort from Alioski, wasn't it?
You have these international matches of tight, chess-like games. You just think at times can be a little bit dull and a little bit pedestrian. This is nothing of the sort. There's no chess involved in this. It's just end-to-end and mistakes around the pitch, tackles flying in. It's been great.
It's been frenetic. It's 1-1. We said that there was more goals in the game. Not too sure whether that was the kiss of death. But with 17 minutes remaining, certainly both sides are hoping to fashion a few more opportunities. Here is Arnautovic to Sabitzer, ahead of him on the left-hand side. Kostadinov makes the challenge, out of play it goes for a throw. Austria, who haven't reached the knockout stages of a major tournament since the 1954 World Cup, would know that 3 points would give them a real opportunity of progressing. Schlager chips the ball forward. Alaba has now ventured forward. Lima plays in Liner, forced out wide right-hand side, still delivers the cross. Stefan Ristovski heads the ball away. And now the potential break could be on for North Macedonia. And it's with Bardi. Alioski's coming on like a steam train on the outside of him on the left-hand side. Here is the Leeds United player. Alioski pulls it towards Elmas. Very good block that came in from Hinteregger and then passed the ball back towards Bachmann. And the energy from both sides, credit to them both.
It's end-to-end stuff, and Alaba all of a sudden just, I've had enough of this, watching this from the back, I'm going to go forwards. And he just pulled the ball out the sky and created a chance, a real bit of quality on the ball. It came to nothing, and that's the threat of North Macedonia. They just go and they commit, and it was a 4-on-4, and last-ditch defending from Austria could prevent it.
Here is Alaba. He's continuing to go further forward, and in that advanced role, he has certainly got the ability to unlock this North Macedonian defence. 1-1, Alioski with a back pass. Dimitrievski a little bit off balance, has put it out of play over on that far side. Little shake of the head from Alioski, but Dimitrievski was put under real pressure. But Alaba has now gone forward. He was playing at the back, but they've committed that extra man forward now, have Austria, with 15 minutes remaining, because they know they've got the Netherlands in Amsterdam on Thursday, to be followed by Ukraine back in Bucharest. They really want the 3 points here. Sabitzer, Ulmer left-hand side, level with the penalty area. 1-1, 5 live in the World Service. Schlager, 30 yards out from goal, plays it forward away from line of the right wing back, and out of play it goes for a throw. I'm conscious that 15 minutes remaining, we could have an exciting finish. Just to say that risque tale about Franco Foda. He made his debut for West Germany, 2 appearances for West Germany, not bad, against Argentina and Brazil. Made his debut against Brazil in Brasilia, and he couldn't understand why his name was being greeted with applause by the Brazilian fans, because his name translates to free sex. And I would imagine for the Portuguese commentators covering this game tonight, it might be posing a problem for them every time the TV director cuts to Franco Foda, especially if the caption was to come up on the screen. But anyway, we don't have that particular worry here on BBC Radio 5 Live, and I managed to get that in before the watershed. I think
the directors will be fairly comfortable with that, don't I?
Here is Lima for Austria, forward ball, couldn't reach Sabitzer. They're starting to take more risks, though, Austria.
They've had to, and they've just not really created enough. Yes, they've had the one header across from Arnautovic, which has pulled off the keeper making a good save, but from that, very little. It's all been from distance.
Leinhardt carries the ball forward to the edge of the area. North Macedonia's defence is under pressure. Liner with the cross. Arnautovic was trying to get there. Comes out to Ulmer, the left wing back inside the penalty area. He heads it back to Alaba. Austria now the side who are really pressing. 1-1. Alaba's good ball in, and there it is. Gregoric has got the goal. It was such an inviting cross from the left-hand side, and the substitute from close range was there to tuck it in. And with 12 minutes remaining, Austria lead by 2-1 as they look to finally claim their first ever win at the Euros.
Well, the first goal was quality from Sabitzer, and this is quality from Alaba. He's just wandered forward, drifted out wide on the left, whipped in across behind the back line of North Macedonia, and Gregoric anticipates the quality on the ball, watches it all the way onto his foot. Dimitrievski in the goal for North Macedonia, has to come, feels like he has to commit, just doesn't get there first. I think it says it all when Sabitzer goes to celebrate with the team, and his face was just one of pure relief. Rather than celebration or jubilation, his teammates are delighted. He's there thinking, we've probably got away with this.
The goal has been coming, and once again that shirt, Eriksson Stay Strong, has been lifted up by the Austrian goal scorer, just as it was when Liner gave them the lead after 18 minutes. A message that I'm sure is really appreciated by the Danish FA. They were talking about the gestures of goodwill and were very thankful for them that have been shown by so many of the competing nations at Euro 2020 from all over across the continent. But Alaba now has retreated back to his defensive position at the heart of the three. But that decision to put him further forward vindicated from Franco Foda, who's normally a very cautious coach.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether it was from him or whether Alaba just thought, to hell with it, I've had enough of this, and I'm going to take control of this game. And he certainly did, because the ball, the pace on the ball is just so inviting, even just down to the smallest detail. Where does he want to play it? He wants it on the volley, on his right foot, and it's there. He just felt it into the area and just asked to be finished.
5th goal for Austria in his 27th appearance for Michael Gregoric. His last goal was actually against Northern Ireland in October, but he has dampened the spirits of North Macedonia with that goal. They might have looked to try and pick up a point as they make their debut, but now they've got 10 minutes to try and salvage something from this opening game in Group C in Bucharest. But the goal had been coming for Austria, and they now lead by 2-1. Dimitrievski clears long, but guided by the header. In fact, I notice now that Hinteregger has actually gone into the central figure of the three-man defence, and Alaba, that you'd been talking about earlier in the game, Rob, has gone to the left of the three.
Well, I'm not telling Franco Foda how to do his job, but it certainly made a difference, didn't it, with the goal? And it just seemed fairly obvious at the time. You want your quality players on the ball as high up the pitch as possible, and that's what happened with the goal. And now it just feels like there's a lot more calm. Macedonia, with 10 minutes or so left in the game, say, well, give it a go. Let's give it a go, because we've got nothing to lose now.
Well, Bardi was forward. He tried to pass the ball to Alioski. Ooh, Alioski, did he just leave a trailing arm there on one of the Austrian players?
Yep.
He did, didn't he?
The ball.
He caught Liner in the face. Well, Alioski, I mean, he's already been booked anyway, but if that was to be picked up by VAR, then he'd be in trouble. North Macedonia are going to make a change, and Bardi is the player who's gone off, and Trichkovsky is the player who has come on. Veteran left winger, 34 years of age, looking to try and use his experience in these closing stages as North Macedonia trail by 2-1. 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. And still more football to come. Netherlands against Ukraine, the other teams, of course, in Group C. Back to Bachmann. Plays it away downfield. Little flick header there by Gregoric. Hooked away by Betulai. In fact, the referee has given a free kick for that challenge on Gregoric.
Pandev's still on the pitch. I thought he would have gone off on the hour mark or not long after, but he's lasted the 90 seemingly, and they'll need him in these last few moments if they want to create something out of nothing. Just to give him the opportunity, just to take that chance. One last throw of the dice.
And certainly they will not want to repeat of the defensive calamity at the back that presented North Macedonia with the equalising goal just before the half hour. 7 minutes of normal time remain. It's 2-1 to Austria. Belkowski. Now it's with Elmas. Alioski forward. Challenge was made by Liner. Got there with a well-timed tackle. Passes the ball now forward to Laimer. And then back to Liner. And now to Sabitzer. Austria, black shirts, turquoise shorts, playing from right to left, leading by 2-1. Laimer with the cross, looking towards Gregoric. But it was just ahead of him. He's retrieved it. He's kept the ball in play, left-hand side. It's a left-footed cross, headed out by Belkowski. Only to Laimer, enters the penalty area, back out of the box to Sabitzer. Sabitzer now shoots, takes a deflection, and Ulmer will watch that spinning ball and quite happy to see it go out of play for a corner kick for Austria, who lead 2-1.
They're shot to bits now, North Macedonia. They're knackered. They've given everything. They've left the bodies out on the pitch, and they were strewn all over the pitch. And they had the defenders up front and the forwards trying to track back, but all in all, just getting bodies on the line.
Alaba then to take the corner kick, leading by 2-1. Near side to left, should be an outswinger from Alaba. In it comes now. Dimitrievski got something on it, and then there was a blatant push there, and it'll be a yellow card because Ademi was the one fouled, and once again temper's just starting to fray a little bit as they try and hold up North Macedonia to prevent the quick free kick. It was Liner, just a blatant push, so the fullback has been booked.
Yeah, just didn't want the counter-attack. Stopped that in its tracks, took the booking. But Dimitrievski again in the goal for North Macedonia, coming for another cross. He's been so positive today, looking to come for crosses. We've been impressed with him.
Rob Green, the former England international, with us on BBC Radio 5 Live. Loose ball, fortunate from that pass from Stefan Ristovski that it hit Sabitzer and fell straight towards Kostadinov. At the back now, ball played forward. Under pressure again from Austria. They have to go back. North Macedonia, Velkovsky to Dimitrievski, but with under 5 minutes remaining. England beat Croatia by 1-0. Netherlands, Ukraine to come later on. Tomorrow we focus on Scotland. Scotland against the Czech Republic. 5 Live Sport from 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If you miss the cricket, and it's easy to miss the cricket, it didn't last for long. New Zealand won by 8 wickets after 41 for 2 in their second innings. Djokovic, as you've just heard, has claimed the French Open tennis men's title, as Musilu is the player going off, and Milan Ristovski is the player who's coming on, joining his brother, and made his debut against Kazakhstan in the final warm-up game for the last 12 minutes, and he's come on now with 4 minutes remaining. He's a midfielder, so they've taken off a defender and brought on a midfielder in a desperate attempt to try and salvage something from this game, and they've got a free kick. So Musilu has gone off, Milan Ristovski is on, Alioski to take the free kick for North Macedonia, who trail by 2-1 on 5 Live. Austria with that line of black shirts outside the penalty area, trying to protect the goalkeeper. Alioski curls the ball in, and it was trying to drop towards the substitute who's just come on, Milan Ristovski. He actually scored on his debut against Kazakhstan, but it's dropped behind safely for a goal kick.
They dropped early, Austria, the line, and it's Hinteregger, nice and calm at the back, judged it, watched it, waited, last second, just ducked out the way of it and let it bounce out for a goal kick. Cool body, cool mind.
They are minutes away, are Austria, from getting the 3 points that they so badly craved. Dimitrievski passes the ball to Stefan Ristovski. Kostadinov plays the ball back, and now it's with Darko Velkovsky scooping the ball out to Alioski. Trichkovsky is ahead of him out on that left-hand side. Here he is now, as the ball is with Stefan Ristovski. White shirts are plenty of forward, pumped long towards Alioski, and out of play it goes for a goal kick. Lacked the direction, and they're not in any hurry, so Alioski's actually going to be the ball boy himself. He picks up the ball and places it down on the edge of the 6-yard area. Daniel Bachmann, the Watford goalkeeper, is time wasting here, and he might be testing the patience of the referee. But fair play, game management, I guess some may say.
He's within his rights to put the ball within the 6-yard box or anywhere he wants, so he can do that. I think you're looking at it now, and Austria seem fairly comfortable in the lead, and it's been assured ever since they took the lead again, and just got to see it through. I don't think they will say that they've played the best. They certainly gave a goal away and gave North Macedonia one of the only few opportunities that they've had in the game, and the quality on the ball at times has been poor, but you would have thought they'd come away with the win, and win your first game in any group is an important one.
They've waited a long time. They're leading by 2-1. Arnautovic running in now. Arnautovic looking to round the goalkeeper, and Arnautovic has scored his first goal for Austria in 2 years. That settles the victory, and their long wait is finally over. Their first win at a European Championship finals, and it's Arnautovic as they now lead North Macedonia by 3-1.
Cool, composed finish from Arnautovic. Got fortunate with how the ball dropped to him. Tired defence from North Macedonia coming through. The ball just bounced through to him, and he, cool as you like, took as many touches as you like to get round the goalkeeper. Knew he had the time, knew he had the presence of mind to go round the goalkeeper, slot it into an empty net. Just a presence and a physical presence of himself, got the opportunity, and then the quality of himself. I think it sort of sums up the game that in his celebration he's turned into one of the North Macedonian players and rowing with him as he scored.
You know, I think that was to Alioski. The two of them have been sparring with the verbals throughout since he came on, but you're right, he was saying something to him as he was celebrating, and then even then he looked a little bit agitated. And whilst his teammates were trying to celebrate with him, he was pushing them off. I'm not too sure whether one of them accidentally kicked him in the knee, but even now, Alioski and Arnautovic are still having words, and then in a rather patronising manner, he's just ruffled the blonde hair of Alioski. I mean, Alioski, where was it at Burnley towards the end of the season? I think it was with Dwight McNeil, wasn't it, for Burnley? I mean, he times can be a bit spiky himself, but Arnautovic and Alioski still continuing. But 3-1, 4 minutes of added on time, and Austria have finally got their first win, and they're looking now for more goals. Gregoric passes the ball through. This is Lima. Good save by the goalkeeper as he went to go round him on the left-hand side. An outstretched arm turned the ball away. But Austria 3-1.
I don't think there'll be many phone numbers exchanged at the end of this game. Well, it's one that maybe from the qualifying group people have remembered each other. A few niggles, a few spats being revisited.
Well, it's the Austrian supporters who are now making themselves heard. An Austrian squad that actually has more players who play in the Bundesliga than the German squad. 21 of this 26-man squad play in the Bundesliga. That's actually 4 more than Germany. And in the end, that quality has told as the ball is played forward for a very tired and jaded North Macedonian side now.
They've given everything. Just run out of steam. I think it's not for the lack of trying, but just the effort that they put in defending and trying to make those powerful runs up the pitch and breaking away. It's just taken its toll on the team, and they've just been opened up once too many.
They didn't come into this game in a great deal of form. They had failed to score in 3 matches, just 1 win in 6. But 3 goals and 3 points, and Lima has just been replaced, and it's smiles all round as Baumgartlinger has come on for the closing stages for Austria. So 3-1, 5 live. The opening game in Group C. And in the end, you'd have to say deserved win too for Austria.
They've been the better side, and as I was saying, I just think they'll walk off the pitch grateful for the 3 points, but realistically knowing that they've not put a good showing on today. Within that, say you've scored 3 goals in your opening group stage for a team that had scored so few in their history in major tournaments. Be pleased with the result, maybe not the performance.
Well, next up for Austria is the Netherlands in Amsterdam, but they will go into that game with a little bit of the pressure off them with the victory that they've achieved here in Bucharest, as another change being made, and Schlager is the player who's gone off, and Stefan Ilsanker coming on again, another player experienced, over 50 caps, the Eintracht Frankfurt midfielder to come on. So getting players, a little bit of match action as the clearance from Bachmann downfield. But about 9,000 people inside the National Arena. It sounded a lot more, but smiles and celebrations now for Austria and for Franco Foda, their German coach, because they've claimed their first win at the Euros. They've beaten North Macedonia on their debut by 3-1, and their wait is over, Rob.
Oh, well, it's been a long wait. The manager celebrates like they've won the tournament itself. So it's a big win for them, obviously. It's one result for North Macedonia that they'll be coming into the game with such high hopes and a sense of a real opportunity there. And when they did score, you're thinking this could be game on, but in the end, the quality that they had with Alaba stepping forward, with Arnautovic coming on, just that quality of 3-4 players in that team has made the difference, and they'll take confidence from the result, maybe not from the performance.
So it's finished in Bucharest. Austria 3, North Macedonia 1. Austria taking the lead after 18 minutes through Liner. Pandev equalised for North Macedonia 10 minutes later. With 12 minutes remaining, it was 1-1. But then we saw goals from Gregoric and then Arnautovic in the 89th minute for Arnautovic to seal the 3 points. Austria 3, North Macedonia 1. Emma.
I tell you what, on paper, it wasn't the sexiest fixture, was it? Austria, North Macedonia, let's face it, two of the smaller fry teams in the tournament. But actually, Rob, it really turned out to be quite entertaining, didn't it?
It was a good game. It was good in terms of the tension, in terms of there was goals, but in terms of actually teams sending out a message as to statements as we're here and we've arrived in this tournament and we mean business. I don't think there'll be many other teams looking around worried about the two teams in this game, but North Macedonia have brought something to the tournament, and I think UEFA will turn around and say, yes, we've expanded it. It's not just the same teams all the time. They're going to bring something different, and from this performance they did.
Franco Foda, the Austria manager, whose name, by the way, I can't say now without smirking, Ian, so thanks for that. He's just going around now applauding the fans inside the stadium in Bucharest. And when the goals went in, the second and third, there was a double fist pump from him, Ian. I think he knows that's a big win, isn't it, if they're looking at getting out the group?
It's a huge win. I mean, you made the point, Emma, at the start of the second half. We talked about it earlier on. It was a pivotal match for both. You know, a draw didn't really suit either side with what's to come against Ukraine and Netherlands. I mean, if you look back to 2016 and, 3 points saw a lot of the teams of that third place, best four sides to qualify who finished third. So he's blowing kisses to the crowd now, is Franco Foda. He has been at times criticised for being too cautious, but it paid off because they were deciding to commit men forward. It was a great cross in from the left-hand side for Gregoric to make it 2-1, and then Arnautovic with his first international goal in 2 years to settle it. And so not a big crowd inside the stadium in Bucharest, but the Austrian supporters are still celebrating in front of their players at the minute.
There's a tweet from someone called Mickey Bricks at 5LiveSport, #BBC Football. Does David Alaba actually have a position in this Austria team? It looks like he just floats around to wherever he's needed. I've never seen a defensive player with such a free role. And actually, to back that up on the BBC Sport website, on the live feed, Rob, there is a David Alaba touch map, and the yellow dots, they're scattered across almost the entire pitch. I mean, he's going to be really, really key in this team, isn't he, going forward again, if they're going to get out of the group?
And you just felt that the more he roamed was the more frustration he was feeling from the performance of the team. And yes, he was the top passer. Seeing the stats now with more than 30 passes more than any other player within the side, but most of them were on the halfway line, so far away from the goal that he couldn't really affect the game with his quality. So he decided to roam, went up higher up the pitch, and then all of a sudden he's got the ball, he's got the time, he's got the space, and picked out the perfect cross for the finish, and that's what won them the game. talk about Sabitzer with the first goal, the quality of pass, Alaba with the second goal, and yeah, that was pretty much the game then. So yeah, I think he's key in this team, as you say, but he did cut a frustrated figure throughout the game whilst it wasn't going entirely their way.
Emma, you speak to Christian Fuchs, and he will tell you that it's one of the biggest frustrations that the Austrians have with Franco Foda, that they haven't been utilising David Alaba to his best position. He's been played out wide, he's been moved here, there and everywhere, and he has to be involved more centrally. And even Rob made the point that when he was playing in the centre of the back three, if he was playing to the left where Hinteregger was, who was getting forward on so many occasions in the first half, Alaba might well have been able to influence the attacking play a little bit more for Austria. So he's actually a huge player for them going forward.
Yeah, I think certainly areas that Austria will be looking at ahead of their next game in Group C. But for now, Ian, Rob, thank you for taking us through that opening game in Group C. In Bucharest, it has finished Austria 3, North Macedonia 1. The other match in that group will kick off at 8 o'clock tonight. It's Netherlands against Ukraine, and we can get the team news from Alistair Bruce-Ball.
Yes, attention now switches to the Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam. The Netherlands' long-awaited return to major tournament football, having missed the last two major tournaments. The last time we saw them, they were losing semi-finalists at the World Cup in 2014, and a blow for Frank de Boer this evening in losing Matthias de Ligt. He's not been able to recover from his groin injury, so if you think about it, he's missing Virgil van Dijk and Matthias de Ligt as his first choice centre-backs in this Dutch squad. So he's going to go with three centre-backs this evening. He's gone for great experience in goal because Martin Stekelenburg of Ajax at 38 years old gets the nod over Tim Krul. Jurrien Timber, just 19 years old, makes his first competitive start on the right-hand side of a three-man defence alongside Stefan de Vrij and Danny Blint. So a lot of experience alongside him there. Daley Blint, I beg your pardon, not his father. That really would be a story. Patrick van Aanholt starts at left wing back. Denzel Dumfries on the right. Martin de Roon, Gini Wijnaldum and Frankie de Jong make up the midfield three, and it's the Wolfsburg centre forward Wout Weghorst that gets the nod up front alongside Memphis Depay, who we know is the real danger man. 16 goals and 13 assists in his last 25 appearances for the Netherlands. And the Ukraine really will provide stiff opposition for them. They finished ahead of Portugal in qualifying. They're the top seeds in this group. They drew with the world champions France in March. They beat Spain back in October. Main headlines from their team, names to look out for: Ilya Zabani, an 18-year-old centre-back who'll play alongside Mikola Matvienko. He's one who's been linked with Chelsea. Really impressive young defender. Ruslan Malinovsky starts in midfield alongside Alexander Zinchenko. Both key men for Ukraine, but Malinovsky could really light up this tournament, the Atalanta midfielder. And Andrei Yarmolenko captains the team, and he's closing in on his manager's goal-scoring record for his country. He's only 8 behind Andrei Shevchenko, but that is the team that he's named for Ukraine this evening.
Ali, thank you. Alongside you tonight, delighted to say we've got Izzy Christensen, the England midfielder, with you. Hi, Izzy. Just a quick one on the team news there. I mean, there's significant stories in either team, but I think particularly in that Netherlands back line, which Ukraine will really look to test now.
Good evening, Emma, by the way. Yeah, I mean, any team without Virgil van Dijk is going to be weakened, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the Dutch backline deal with the pressure. And I think after that win for Austria tonight in the group, it puts extra pressure on this game tonight, and I think we should see a very, very good game.
Yes, I have to agree. That one kicking off in an hour's time. So our final game of the day, Netherlands taking on Ukraine. In Bucharest, it has finished Austria 3, North Macedonia 1. And earlier on, England getting their campaign off to a winning start, beating Croatia by a 1-0. So we'll have some reaction from England's game on the way. We're also talking Scotland ahead of their opener tomorrow. We'll get the latest on Christian Eriksen as he recovers from what we now know was a cardiac arrest yesterday evening. And, of course, we'll have all the build-up to that third and final commentary of the night. Netherlands taking on Ukraine. That's all after the news on 5 Live with Stuart Clarkson.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Emma. Good evening. The Prime Minister has deflected questions about the next stage of easing England's COVID restrictions, saying there'll be news tomorrow. Ministers are deciding whether to go ahead as planned on the 21st of June or to delay due to the recent surge in the Delta variant. Government figures tonight show a further 8 deaths and just under 7,500 new cases in the latest 24-hour period. The G7 summit in Cornwall has finished, with leaders agreeing to deliver more than 1 billion coronavirus vaccinations to poorer countries and raise $100 billion to help them cut carbon emissions. They also agreed to stand strong in addressing the challenges posed by China. Here's our political correspondent, Rob Watson.
I go back to that old adage, which is the proof of the pudding is in the eating, because if you sort of strip away everything else, what you had here was some pretty bold commitments on vaccinations, going to vaccinate everyone in the world by the end of next year. And on climate change, yes, we're going to meet our commitments, past commitments on funding fighting climate change. So you know what's coming next. Let's see what they do.
Well, the US President and First Lady have now met the Queen for tea at Windsor Castle after leaving Cornwall and the G7. Joe Biden is the 13th American leader to meet the Queen during her reign. A guard of honour gave a royal salute and the US national anthem was played. A football fan has been taken to hospital in a serious condition after falling from the stands at Wembley during the England-Croatia game earlier. We're told the spectator was given on-site medical attention before being taken to hospital. Denmark's team doctor has confirmed Christian Eriksen suffered a cardiac arrest when he collapsed during his team's match against Finland yesterday. He's stable in hospital. Our correspondent Nick Beake was at a press conference in Copenhagen earlier.
I asked the team doctor just how close they were to losing Christian Eriksen, and he said he was gone. It was only when they used a defibrillator on the pitch, gave that very rapid medical response, that they were able to bring him back, in his words. Now, clearly, for his teammates, very traumatic. They've been offered psychological support.
And police have made several arrests after officers were injured during an illegal street party involving hundreds of people in Nottingham last night. Bottles were thrown at officers as they tried to give first aid to a man who'd been stabbed.
5 Live Breakfast.
Glance at the watch, and there is the final whistle. And Italy have recorded a record victory in the Euro finals as they have beaten Turkey by 3-0.
51 matches being played in 11 different countries before the final at Wembley, July the 11th. Just looking at some of the games ahead, it's just so mouth-watering. France against Germany. I saw that one coming
Tuesday night,
well.
Yeah.
Pellini Montrachet, 1989 against Liefrau Milch. What about that? What about that for an encounter?
Exactly what I was thinking.
Every morning throughout the tournament, you can wake up with us for all the best reaction and analysis. You know that over the years, over the tournaments, here's where it is.
5 Live Breakfast. Back Monday morning from 6.
The wait is over. Euro 2020 with Emma Saunders.
On BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. It's day 3 of the Euros, and on a hot day at Wembley, England are up and running with 3 points, a clean sheet, and Raheem Sterling, MBE, back amongst the goals.
Brooks makes a run, he gets away from Guardiol, then he beats Chaladatzan, plays it to Sterling, and Sterling through the middle forces his shot past the goalkeeper and in! And England have their first goal here at the Euros!
More reaction to that to come. Austria also have their first win in the tournament as well.
Arnautovic looking to round the goalkeeper, and Arnautovic has scored his first goal for Austria in 2 years. That settles the victory, and their long wait is finally over.
Up next, we take a first look at the Netherlands as they take on Ukraine in Amsterdam.
As the Netherlands come forward again, Northern Ireland falling apart, and that is the win! Memphis Depay with his second of the night puts the Netherlands 3-1 up.
Before kick-off, we'll also get the latest on the condition of Christian Eriksen. And every day of the Euros, you can get all the news from everything that's going on in our daily Euros podcast. You can subscribe and download that via BBC Sounds.
The wait is over. Euro 2020 with Emma Saunders.
On BBC Radio 5 Live.
So yes, another 3.5 hours of 5 Live Sport for you tonight. Over the next hour, we're going to be building up to the Netherlands against Ukraine, which is an 8 o'clock kickoff this evening. We'll also be getting the latest from the Scotland camp ahead of their first match tomorrow, and also to Novak Djokovic's 5-set win at the French Open. What an epic finale that was. We are going to start, though, with the big news of the day. England starting their Euros campaign with a 1-0 win over Croatia. Raheem Sterling scoring the winner in the second half. Here's manager Gareth Southgate.
I'm most pleased with the performance. Of course, the win is important, and to win your first game relieves some tension, and it doesn't mean we've qualified. The objective's still to qualify from the group. That's the first stage. But the performance was really good. I thought a big occasion, sweltering hot day. I thought the players settled really quickly, used the ball well. We've limited Croatia to very few clear chances throughout the game, and they're a good opponent that we've got huge respect for and we know so much about. So yeah, I couldn't be happier with not just the players that played, but the players that came in and the way that the whole group reacted across the last fortnight to prepare for this game.
And the teams that started today, Croatia had 300 more caps than the team that started for England. You brought in Kieran Trippier to play at left back. I assume you got exactly what you wanted from him there, even though I think it caught a few people out, that one.
Yeah, we just felt that his talking across the back line, his ability to get out and stop crosses quickly, and his experience on a day like today, alongside Tyrone, who's relatively early in his international career, would be a good stabilising element. And yeah, he's a very underrated player, I have to say. I think people are still looking at the player from a few years ago and not seeing the player that's been at Atletico Madrid and playing like a warrior for the last 2 seasons. So he's a big part of what we've done over the last few years, and he gave a really stable performance.
And just a last one on the significance of being able to get that win. Lots of young players in your team, half of them playing in a tournament for the first time. Just the very simple importance.
Yeah, it's firstly a lovely day for the English public. We've waited for a long time for the beer gardens to open. I'm sure they're now throwing it everywhere as well as drinking it, which is lovely. But for us, it relieves some tension. You know that if you don't win the first game, the pressure ramps up. But we've still got 2 really difficult games in this group, and we're a good step forward today, but still important steps to go to qualify.
So Gareth Southgate there speaking to John Murray, here with us for the next hour as we build up to kick off England International. Izzy Christensen is with us, as is Ben Haynes from 90 Min. Good evening, you two. Ben, you were at Wembley this afternoon. Imagine you've been slapping on the after sun, haven't you, since necking pints of water. I mean, it looks sweltering on the TV screens.
Yeah, it's very, very warm. You felt an instant sort of, there was a feeling of kind of, I suppose, duty of care for the players, because you're thinking naturally that they're going to be very, very low on energy. But I thought England managed the game incredibly well, considering the heat. And it's one of the criticisms that we had of England during the World Cup in 2018, that perhaps at times their game management wasn't that good. But today, I feel like they got it absolutely spot on.
Yeah, Izzy, it was all about the result, really, wasn't it? It wasn't necessarily free-flowing football throughout the 90 minutes, but you were part of England's squad back in 2017 for the Women's Euros. You won your first game. You'll know the importance just of that victory, never mind the performance as much.
Oh, it does absolute wonders for the morale. It's such a relief getting the first game out of the way at a major tournament, and to do it with a win, it means everything moving forwards, because I think today, I don't know, I saw a real difference to the England team today. From what I did see, I was on a sweltering hot train carriage heading down to London to cover this game, and the signal was dropping in and out. But from what I saw, England looked so composed and calm with the ball. And I love it when you see players pointing to where they want players around them to move or where they want the ball. And to me, that shows a team of real confidence. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, or not hype it up too much, because it's just one game and you know what it's like with England. But no, I thought they looked really assured, and given the conditions, I believed I've come from the north, not as warm up there, but down here, as soon as I got out of Euston Station, it hit you like a ton of bricks. So it's a credit to them to be able to perform like that, and Gareth Southgate and his team behind him, the way they set the team up. And it's as cliche as it is, they got to move on to the next one.
It's such a good point as he makes. around the idea of just getting that first match out of the way. I don't know if it was the same on television, but certainly in the stadium, there was this feeling when it got towards the last 10 minutes, it was just like, let's just get this game over. Let's get through this last 10 minutes. Let's survive the last 10 minutes and make sure that we come away with the 3 points. And really, even though it was a very strong performance and a very professional performance, I don't know about you, Izzy, but for me personally, watching on, it certainly felt like we can almost let the performance slip to one side and just take the result. And that's such a difference for an England side to be saying the result's the most important thing. We don't need to get overexcited about the way in which the players played. It was actually more about the way in which they managed the game and got the result.
I agree, and I think that it's smart as well, knowing that, I mean, they've won the game and they haven't used Grealish. Kane wasn't on it today. There's options around the team. There's players that can come